Hey everyone, welcome back. Today I want to talk about something I wish someone had told me earlier in my faith journey. We live in a culture that's all about speed, fast food, quick fixes, instant results. And unfortunately, we've brought that same mindset into our spiritual lives. We want immediate transformation. We want to go from zero to spiritual giant overnight. We sprint out of the gate with all this intensity and passion, and then we crash. We burn out, we can't sustain it. But here's the truth. Life is a marathon, not a sprint. And if you treat your faith like a sprint, you're not going to make it to the finish line. So let's talk about how to pace yourself and play the long game in your spiritual growth. I think a lot of us start our faith journey or rededicate ourselves with this all or nothing approach. We're going to read the entire Bible in a month. We're going to pray 2 hours a day. We're going to go to every church event, serve in 3 ministries, be in 2 small groups, and completely overhaul our entire life starting Monday. And for a week, maybe 2 weeks, we actually do it. We're on fire. We're crushing it. We feel so spiritual. But then life happens. We miss a day, then 2 days. Then we feel guilty. Then we think, well, I already messed up, so what's the point? And we quit altogether. That's the sprint mentality. It's unsustainable and it sets us up for failure and burnout. The problem isn't that we're not committed enough. The problem is that we're trying to run a marathon at a sprinter's pace. Hebrews 12:1 tells us to run with perseverance the race marked out for us. Notice it doesn't say run as fast as you possibly can. It says run with perseverance. That's endurance. That's pacing yourself for the long haul. Because this isn't a 100-meter dash. This is your entire life, and you need a pace you can actually maintain. Here's something we don't talk about enough. Real spiritual growth is slow. We want the microwave, but God's using a slow cooker. We want instant transformation, but God's in it for the long-term sanctification. Think about how things grow in nature. A tree doesn't become massive overnight. It grows slowly, steadily, over years, adding ring after ring, deepening its roots, getting stronger with each season. That's how spiritual maturity works too. You don't become patient overnight. You don't develop unshakable faith in a week. You don't learn to love like Jesus after reading one book or going to one conference. It's the daily choices repeated over time that shape you. It's showing up consistently, even when you don't feel like it. It's the small disciplines practiced faithfully over months and years. Philippians 1:6 says, "He who began a good work in you will carry it on to completion until the day of Christ Jesus." Until the day of Christ Jesus. That's your whole life. God's not in a hurry. He's patient with your process, and He's inviting you to be patient with it too. The goal isn't to sprint to some imaginary finish line of perfection. The goal is to keep moving forward one step at a time for the rest of your life. So what does that actually look like practically? It means building sustainable rhythms instead of unsustainable bursts. Instead of trying to pray for 2 hours once and then never again, what if you prayed for 10 minutes every single day? That's sustainable. You can do that for the rest of your life. Instead of reading 10 chapters of the Bible today and then feeling guilty when you can't keep that up, what if you read 1 chapter a day or even just a few verses, but you actually reflect on them? Consistency beats intensity every single time. It's better to work out 3 times a week for the rest of your life than to go to the gym every day for 2 weeks and then quit. The same principle applies spiritually. And here's the other thing. Give yourself permission to have different seasons. Some seasons you'll have more capacity than others. Some seasons you're in growth mode. Some seasons you're in survival mode. And that's okay. The marathon doesn't require you to sprint the whole way. Sometimes you run, sometimes you jog, sometimes you walk. The point is you keep moving forward. Ecclesiastes 3:1 says, "There is a time for everything and a season for every activity under the heavens." Learn to recognize what season you're in and adjust your pace accordingly. That's not lowering the bar. That's wisdom. When you start thinking marathon instead of sprint, it changes everything. You stop comparing yourself to everyone else's highlight reel on social media. You stop feeling like a failure when you have an off day. You stop burning out because you're not trying to do everything all at once. Instead, you start playing the long game. You start thinking, Where do I want to be in 10 years, in 20 years? What kind of person do I want to become? And then you make small, consistent choices that move you in that direction. Because here's the reality: the people who finish the race aren't the ones who sprint out the gate. They're the ones who pace themselves, who stay steady, who keep showing up day after day, year after year. 1 Corinthians 9:24 says, "Run in such a way as to get the prize." To get the prize, you have to finish. And to finish, you have to pace yourself. So if you're feeling burned out, if you're exhausted, if you feel like you can't keep up, maybe it's because you're sprinting when you should be running a marathon. Slow down. Find a sustainable pace. Build rhythms you can maintain, and trust that slow, steady growth over time will get you further than any short-term burst of intensity ever could. Life is a marathon, not a sprint, so run accordingly. Thanks for watching. If this helped you, hit that like button and subscribe for more content like this. And let me know in the comments what's one sustainable rhythm you're committing to. See you next time. Pace yourself. Play the long game. You've got a whole life ahead of you.